Hi guys! So now Mr. Beast is facing some controversy about his product that he decides to launch. Personally, me, again, I don't give a fuck. Because the question always comes down to, did someone rape someone? Did someone kill someone? If the answer is no, I don't give a fuck, right? To me, it just sounds ridiculous that people are going after the Lunchly product because it's not healthy. But I'm generalizing it, so Dr. Mike here, I think he's a doctor. So yeah, I want to see what he has to say about the Lunchly situation. So this is Doctor reacts to the Lunchly controversy.
And the reception has been less than stellar.
Yep.
Many creators took to social media to
What are they saying? What happened to YouTubers, man? This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? Dude, this just sounds like some boomer argument. Like, what the fuck? Were you born yesterday? Like, are content creators not allowed to create, like, sugarish food or, like, I don't know, McDonald's kind of... Like, yeah, it's unhealthy. If your stance is, like, YouTubers shouldn't sell things that are unhealthy, well, then you should apply the standard to everyone. If you think YouTubers should all promote vegan food or, like, celeries or... Jesus Christ, man, what are those thumbnails? Fuck's sake, guys. Then maybe in your perfect world, unhealthy food, junk food, sugarish food should just not be allowed, you know? I don't know, man. I feel like it's an unfair standard to hold over content creators, you know? There are companies that are allowed to create, like, sugarish food, but content creators, it's like, oh, they can't make their own shit, you know? Like, you should be fighting for the ban of McDonald's and all that shit. I see a ton of kids going to McDonald's, man. You should go walk up to this kid and say, yo, what the fuck are you doing it? Get the fuck out of here. That's how I would picture you if you have this opinion. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Yeah, people do shit to make money. People buy junk food, kids eat junk food. Yeah, they shouldn't eat it every day, but also kids should not be dumbasses. They should be surrounded by people who can tell them like, hey, don't eat this shit every day. So maybe one thing that you could demand of mr.beast is to have like some warning of eat with moderation or something, I guess. I'm telling you, me personally, I don't give a fuck. I feel like this is an insane standard to have. It only makes sense if you think that there should not be unhealthy food at all. Otherwise, why the fuck would you pin it on one content creator? If you're as big as mr.beast, you're just cursed, I guess.
Logan and Jimmy were quick to push back on the critics with their own
Okay, what are they saying? I'll tell you what happened to YouTubers. We spent our lives creating content and building our brands. Now we want to build businesses. You don't say anything when Lunchables faces bans for allegedly containing lead, but when we create a better version, you're upset, then don't eat it. That's a good response. What? Coke is selling Coke and it's super unhealthy? Are you gonna go against Coke and be like, yo, create a more healthy product, man? Get the shit out of here. Logan Paul again. Crazy how even a sports medicine doctor can't tell the difference between sodium and potassium. Okay, wait a minute. If this guy is a legit doctor, maybe you wanna hold your horses. mr.beast, no. Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative to it. Here's one thing though that I'm kinda not comfortable with. mr.beast is trash talking Hershey's. Now it seems like he's trash talking Lunchables. I don't know if he has a personal bone to pick with them. I don't know if someone in his family died by those two products. Like, in one way, I find it hard to find a problem with the fact that people are dissing his product when he's dissing other products. Like, he wants people to buy less of Hershey's and more of his own stuff. And he openly says that he doesn't like Hershey's. Fuck Hershey's. Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative to it. So if he's saying that his products are healthier, but they're not healthy by a large margin, then I guess him shit-talking the other products can be perceived as weak, in my eyes. So I'm not really a nutritional expert. I don't know if there's any caveats. I guess that's where Dr. Mike comes in. But the opinion of like, oh, YouTubers want to make money, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You would also want to make money. If you don't make money, you die, obviously.
Lunchables are basically these pre-packaged do-it-yourself meal kits. They've usually got things like crackers, deli meats, cheeses, treats, and come with a little drink. And
Looks like shit, honestly. I wouldn't buy that.
since their inception, they've been super popular with kids. However, it's been known, especially by experts, that while these kits are fun and tasty, their nutritional value is just not good.
Well, what? Is that like surprising or something? Like, no shit. If they don't want to eat broccoli, man, like, obviously, well, like, kids are gonna eat stuff that are delicious, and the only way to stop it is to just ban junk food or whatever, or to set severe restrictions. Otherwise, we're creating shit, people are gonna consume shit, and then you're deciding to take it on mr.beast, just some random content creator.
They're often too high in sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars, and don't
Course.
use healthy whole food ingredients. They aren't healthy to consume often, period. Studies
No shit, any of these foods are not healthy to consume, period. Unless you just eat broccoli, salad, and maybe some meat. I don't know. Is even meat not good for you? I don't fucking know at this point. I heard bacon is shit, but I don't like bacon. Seems insane. We had companies make those bullshit foods for ages. Mr. Beast creates one, and then we're gonna jump at him?
Some specific UPFs are linked to increases in cancer.
Yeah, eating unhealthy food gives you more risks of obesity, and we have obese people. There are countries where there are no obese people at all. That's our values, man. We promote junk food.
So many of my pediatric patients are over consuming UPFs, and it's becoming a growing problem across the country.
Yeah, so if this is a problem and we cannot control it, we cannot restrict it, but we're gonna be selective about who we're going after. How about maybe just saying that some people are gonna be fucking dumbasses and some people will control themselves. That's the way it's gonna work, and that's the way it has worked so far, man. Like, I don't fucking know. I mean, the format itself, if this is like some kind of lunch format, by nature, by design, I think people will be pushed to eat this very often, you know, like, oh, here's my lunchly. So the point now is that now that Mr. Beast, a so famous guy, is releasing lunchly, there will be even more people consuming this bullshit. Like, yeah, sure, you win. Yeah, I guess I just don't give a fuck.
But now what about Lunchly? In fact, throughout the Lunchly website and the social media promo posts, you'll see countless comparisons being made to Lunchable.
That's a ton of electrolytes. Is electrolytes bad for you?
To be honest, some of the comparisons are kind of cringe and don't make much sense to me, but maybe that's because I'm not the target demo. Flavorful combos versus standard picks?
Okay, this is just added fluff.
The meal kit combos are nearly identical to Lunch.
Yeah, it looks identical. This is kind of whack. This is kind of weak. If you're gonna shit talk someone's product, but then your product is gonna look similar, it's like, my reaction is, what the fuck are you doing?
Big gestures versus mid moments.
What the fuck does that means?
And in looking in the comparison, I'd be most interested in calories, which they have, protein, which
The calories kind of similar, protein very similar.
saturated fat, which is missing, and sodium, which is not only missing, but replaced by electrolytes.
Why is electrolytes important? If we want to be like not charitable, we could say that they're hiding something. Maybe because it looks better if there's only 4 rows instead of like 6. I don't know. Electrolytes to me seems kind of, I mean, maybe this is like the strength of the key as side product. I don't know anything about Prime. But if Prime happens to be unhealthy, it seems kind of extreme to pack it as a drink in there. It's like a killer fucking recipe.
Saturated fat, which is missing,
Fat being missing is a huge red flag. I mean, it's required, you know, that's the first thing that I look at.
this is a pretty weird marketing choice to label electrolytes in food products. It's such a strange choice that it even stunned fellow Dr. Brian Suterer, who tweeted,
Sodium getting rebranded as electrolytes will be taught in marketing textbooks one day.
and sadly was ashamed to see Logan attack instead of starting a meaningful dialogue with the doctor, given that 400 milligrams is not the amount of electrolytes in Prime, at least in the image that Logan shared. 400 milligrams of potassium plus 5 milligrams of sodium equals 405 milligrams of electrolytes. It's not about nitpicking, it's just about being reasonable and honest to help further the conversation.
What? 405 per 100? Pretty close. Logan Paul made a mistake, I guess. Okay, so I guess Logan Paul was wrong when he said that they're not the same thing or something, but in the end, it still ends up being super close to 400. And it's like saying, oh, it's not 400, it's 401.
Look, if I want to decide if a food is right for me, I like to be able to compare the entire electrolyte profile, which would have to include sodium. It's like having a PB&J sandwich label that says what's in the sandwich, you know, protein, fats, calories, but then the sugar line only tells you what's in the peanut butter as opposed to the jelly in the entire sandwich.
True. Kinda true. Dude, this looks like shit, man. I don't ever put so much shit on top of my food, man.
butter as opposed
I'm in survival
to
mode.
the jelly
I mean, it's understandable mistakes to make, like, even from Logan Paul. I mean, maybe you could say that as someone who starts a product, he should know some stuff, or he should know what, like, all of these components mean. For a normie, like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck potassium is. I don't give a fuck. It never influenced me, and it doesn't influence my shape. Like, I don't care. But from Logan Paul, who calls someone an idiot, literally, like, if he has any facts wrong and he's part of the product, that would be kind of funny.
And it's honestly really hard to draw perfectly clear conclusions for several reasons. Some of the portion sizes aren't the same. The turkey cracker kit from Lunchables is 82 grams, while Lunchleys is 72 grams. 3, there are so many varieties of Lunchables that just swapping out the flavor of Capri Sun causes significant differences in sugar and calorie content.
Well, fuck, go with everyone and then make a conclusion which Lunchables is maybe more healthy, which is less healthy. Like, I don't know, man. Target all of them if possible.
What I was able to conclude is that Lunchly has less sugar and therefore less calories than Lunchables in comparable kits. That's probably due to the drink component of the kit, as Capri Sun uses sugar.
Drink components of the kit. So how much less? By a big margin or small margin?
Lunchly has significantly more potassium than Lunchables because of the prime drink, which I guess is good, but not something I'd regularly use in deciding if a food is an ideal lunch
Okay, we get a plus here.
for a kid. Lunchly has slightly less sodium and saturated fat than comparable Lunchables. That's definitely moving in the right direction, however, both differences were fairly small. Lunchly
Okay.
does use real cheese as opposed to cheese product, signaling that at least one ingredient is less processed.
If they're not moldy, that would be great. Oops, sorry. That's another video.
But the entirety of the kit is still considered an ultra-processed meal. Lunchly has higher amounts of A and B vitamins, which can be good, but also can be problematic as
That's good, but problematic, really?
vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, and kids can easily overconsume it, leading to toxicity.
That's interesting.
Being that it's fat soluble means that you can't just urinate excess out. This has actually been raised as an issue by experts with Prime in general.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so that's important. So for kids from 9 to 13 years old, they should watch their intake of Prime. Because what's in one bottle of Prime is more than what they are allowed to take, you know? So probably just drinking one drink is not bad. I'm not an expert in nutritional stuff that happens with children. If they drink too much, will they go... Like, probably drinking one bottle would be fine, but if they drink another one, I would say it's like, it might be overkill, and it's probably, like, if it tastes good, it's easy to, like, just overdrink it. You know, the same as with McDonald's, you know, like, oh, once in a while is good, but I don't know how I would compare it because, again, I'm not really an expert. My logic, I guess, is that, like, only once, probably not gonna kill you, probably not gonna harm you, but considering that they're kids, they're content creators, and it's probably delicious, this might be overkill for kids of that age.
Despite these legitimate upgrades, social media posts are slamming Lunchly for not being perfect. But Lunchly does not need to be perfect to be
Not being perfect. Well, mr.beast, well, maybe something with how mr.beast delivered it or something healthier.
It just needs to be significantly healthier in order to reduce risk.
So now it's like how much is significant, then we're playing the numbers game. I want to know his opinion, if it's significant enough or how much is it healthier. All these content creator guys slamming it for not being perfect, if that's the case. People put strict standards towards him when he's just like some random YouTuber who decides to launch like maybe one of his first products. When there's other businesses out there, popular businesses. Well, mr.beast will have maybe a bigger impact from now on, but like there are other businesses that we're kind of tolerating, you know? You're not exactly changing the world yourself. You're not like protesting anything. You're not trying to create a world where they don't exist. So why the fuck would you give a fuck now? Did you protest against Lunchables? Did you protest against Coca-Cola or something? Do you protest against McDonald's? Like, then I don't give a fuck. You all of a sudden waking up and deciding to go after mr.beast? It's like, It's like, okay, where have you been?
Knowing all that, is it fair to say that Lunchly is healthier? I guess one can say yes, but honestly, probably more so as a marketing tactic.
Dude, what the fuck is this answer, man? Some would say yes. So basically, if I have to be charitable here, he's basically saying not by a big margin.
Why? Well, let's look at the recently passed nutrition standards set forth by the USDA for school lunches and see how Lunchly compares.
Okay, so he's basically saying, yeah, it is healthier, but let's say if it's healthy enough to pass the whatever the fuck he just said.
Less than 10% of calories should come from saturated fat. Lunchly turkey, 23% of calories come from saturated fat. Less than 10% of calories should
Oh,
come from...
guess what? It's gonna fail all of this. Oh, okay, if you eat Lunchly for 5 days. Like, yeah, sure, it's overkill, for sure. If you eat this a lot, yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, same for Lunchables, no? Okay, hold on. So if that's the case, how would Lunchables compare with the same standards of the daily amount on average for 5-day week? I would ask. If Lunchly fails, and Lunchables fails even more, Lunchly is still a healthier product. It's just not healthy enough, I guess, to pass this standard.
Lunchly turkey, 10.4 comes from added sugars.
Dude, it's close. 10.4, 10, 0.4% more.
But this is where things get really interesting, and for some reason, no one has pointed this out.
Because they're not doctor, like you, Dr. Mike.
Should contain around 625 calories. Kids need energy to function, and calories give them that energy.
Fuck kids, man.
Lunchly turkey contains only 230 calories, which would mean a kid would need to eat about 2.7 portions to consume enough calories.
And if they did that, they'd get nearly
Okay, so now we're saying there's not enough calories?
1,300 milligrams of sodium.
Which is also significantly over the USDA standards. So they'd be either under-eating calories or overeating sodium. Finally, the grain guidelines state that 80% of lunch meals must be whole grain, and Lunchly turkey does not list any whole grain ingredients. It's clear Lunchly, just like Lunchables, misses the mark too many.
Dude, when I was packing my lunch or whatever, I didn't look at any of these fucking charts or whatever, how much I eat. I don't even know what the fuck I was eating, man. And nobody was looking at what the fuck I was eating. So if really this just happens to not be a big deal or whatever, it would just all be fucking stupid, man. Like, I don't remember being put to this kind of standards or having to watch out for my food. Like, nobody gave a fuck what I ate. Which is a problem if you get fat and shit. Alright, what is the percentage of people, if there could be like a study being made, what is the percentage of people who actually manage to follow through these guidelines or whatever? Or how many go over it? Probably the majority would just fail this, I would think. I don't know, because I was never held up to this standard, so I assume everyone else is also not held up to this standard. I don't fucking know. It all comes down to the individual and the influence they have around them. Either you fucking fail or you succeed. Because we're not going to be banning any companies. We're not going to be protesting these companies or whatever. We're just going to be protesting mr.beast, I guess. So, like, how much is it actually decent to, like... There's a shift here. Lunchly seems to be healthier just as promoted. But now we're comparing it to the stats of, like, if people would eat it for 5 days, would that give you enough, you know? When it's like, okay... So now the goal is to succeed in those charts.
Lunchly, just like Lunchables, misses the mark too many times to be considered meaningfully healthier.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's healthier than Lunchables, just like promoted, but not in a large enough scale. Ideally, people shouldn't consume it for 5 days, but I guess they will. Like, I don't know, how is it being sold? Like, is it like in packs? I guess it's easy to make. It's like a good, like... easy to make food, I guess. But the problem is that now that it's mr.beast promoting it, some people who maybe haven't ate Lunchables before are gonna eat Lunchly, and maybe they're gonna start eating less healthy. And they also see that it's healthier, so they think it's healthy. But I feel like it's an insane standard to hold a random YouTuber over. People who would have a problem with him, I think they should have a problem with every single company out there that provides like unhealthy food. You know, like fuck. I don't know, man. I think it's very weak of them if they just go after mr.beast.
At least in my opinion. That being said, I do think many criticisms pointed at Logan, KSI, and Jimmy are unfair. Attacking them for trying to create a successful influencer product.
There we go. They're YouTubers. This is one of their first products, and they're the one that needs to eat the most shit.
Isn't inherently problematic. I just think if a company was truly interested in creating a healthier lunch kit for kids, the USDA standards should be the minimum starting requirements.
Okay. Maybe they weren't easy to follow for food to taste good. I don't fucking know. I'm not an expert.
Otherwise, we're simply propagating the problem even further.
Sure. Good take.
One of my hopes is that in navigating the future feedback on this company, the guys hire a health professional to guide them in making messaging more accurate.
Yeah, so his issue is also with the messaging. He hasn't said a lot about it, but I would guess with my logic is that healthier will give a false illusion, like without and maybe the nutritional values that they're kind of like playing a little too much with it, throwing some fluff in there. Like, yeah, the healthier can be misleading.
I can't expect non-medical people to get this perfect, but if you're gonna stand by a children's food product being healthy, you need to hold your messaging to a higher standard.
Ooh, what are this? So yeah, that's his opinion. I don't see anything like irrational here. It's just like I had an issue with when we're analyzing, is it better than Lunchables? Then it's like, yeah, to some extent. But then if we're comparing it to the charts, to me, it kind of came off as a bit like maybe snaky because it's like or deflectory. But no, I think his messaging is solid here. And again, I'm not a professional, far from it. I don't even know what the fuck gluten is, man. I think content creators that criticize those three or like they're just like going crazy, going kaput over it. I think they're being quite unfair and ridiculous because if they actually give a fuck, I think they should give a fuck about like every single company out there, huge companies. They should rally against them and be like, yo, stop selling poison to us, man. Stop promoting poison or stop like showing us ads about these products and trying to make money off people getting themselves ill, fat or whatever. Like you should just have this value about everything, I would say, not just mr.beast because he's mr.beast. I mean, sure, children are watching him. He's not obligated to follow the standard that you expect him to follow, but not anyone else, you know, like, I don't know, it's an interesting video, solid video, and it doesn't goes into full, like, it's not boring. I expected it to go super analytical or something, but it was digestible. That was Dr. Reacts to the Lunchly controversy by Dr. Mike. Like, you're allowed to have a problem with people promoting junk food and all that shit. My issue is that I don't believe that you actually give a fuck. I think you just give a fuck that it's Mr. Beast. That's all.